Hello. Okay, if you get here right on time, make sure that you share this back in the group. Okay, so after sharing, you get back and tell me how your day was. And okay, good to have you already. Those that have already come in, just in the chat box, in the comments, just tell me how your day went. And then tell me how far you are watching those videos, and what other questions you have as a person, so we can be able to actually answer those. And for those of you that are lagging behind, we are not saying that your speed is too slow, and I'm not going to tell you that, because I told you that this is very you create your own pace. Okay, because part of what we want to talk about today, just the things, sharing my personal journey, or the things that I think have gotten me to where I am. And actually, I even got a chance to have a chat with Tim, and he pointed out these things and said, if I am to talk to anyone training to be a counselor, to be a public speaker, to be an author, to be a consultant, to be a mentor, a counselor, as in to be a service providing person, these are the things that I will talk about. So we're going to talk about those three things tonight, and then I would love to hear from you, answer your questions. We don't have that much time. We only have 30 minutes on this live, and then we'll be good to go. So if you get here, just make sure that you share that link back into the group, so that the rest of us can actually get they can get the message, or they can get the link and then come join us. Okay, and then for some of us that have been attending different live sessions, last time we had a very good Q&A, and I think the best thing that I said, that I remember saying, was that you have not lived until you have impacted lives. Okay, my day was okay. Thanks. I'm done with watching videos. Annette, I've been following. I've been really monitoring your speed, and I would say this. I really like the fact that you have gone through the live videos, you have gone through the lectures, you have gone through the notes and the articles, and you have really created a very good pace for yourself. So that means you are way ahead of some of the people in your class, and which puts you in a good position, because again, there is a lot more time to practice, there is a lot more time to do the things, because in as much as we talk about all the things that we talked about in the lectures, if you cannot have the discipline to put into action according to the assignments that I gave, that means you are actually not growing, you are not making headway, and so something needs to be done. Okay, so many of you have been writing down the notes, and then you scan those notes and send them to me, and I'm like, wow, you're really serious about your personal growth and your journey. It's one thing to pay for a program, and it's another thing to actually do the actual growth and the actual work. And I told you, no one is going to do that for you. I mean, I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm not going to pat your back and say, oh, it's okay, even if you go at the slowest speed. No. Adriana, good to have you. So what I want is you know where you want to go. You know what you feel inside of you. I don't feel the fire. You are the one that is feeling the fire. So my job is to give you a subtle push. My job is to remind you on a daily that you have greatness within you, and you have something to give to the world. And in such a time as this, you have made the right decision to make sure that you improve on your skills, to make sure that you get more skills, and to make sure that you open your eyes wider than you have ever opened them. So I really highly commend you for the decision that you took. But now the work begins. For some of you, you have done the work. I have seen the videos. I have seen the YouTube channels. I have seen the artwork some of you have created. I know some of you have not, but I know some of you have done tremendous things. Some of you have actually started podcasts. Okay, I can see some of you very active on social media. And sometimes I look at your posts and I'm like, this is maturity. This is a whole different level altogether. And I know that nothing will ever limit you. You are unstoppable. So we don't do this to sit with this information. And I think no one of you or no one of us is actually in this place to just sit on the information that we get. Otherwise, would have done so many other things. You have not lived until you transform lives. So ask yourself tonight, what are you doing right now that will transform one person's life, two people? It doesn't have to be many. Some of us, we really took it so wrongly that when you see Bahati talking to multitudes of people, when you see the mentorship class and the growth that we have and the round tables, for those of you that have been on the round tables, and you're like, I want to be like that person, just like a switch. And those are some of the things that our team has shared tonight, to be able to create your own speed and to create your own pace. But again, your pace does not mean that you should be as slow as a tortoise. No. Your pace should mean that you should have a yearning. Remember, we talked about in order to become a coach or a life changer or a transformer, you have to have the desire. It's the number one thing. And the number one thing that qualified you for this program is the desire that you had. Now, when I saw that desire, I was like, okay, I can work with this desire. Maybe he doesn't have so many things. Maybe she doesn't. She's not well put together. Maybe she's not perfect. Maybe she's not. But the desire is enough to transform you into the person that is actually going to transform others. The desire is enough to make you grow, okay? To add more information, to make you even take care of yourself. I have seen some of the coaches that have been activated and graduated in the last cohorts, and how they came into the program is not the way they are right now. You look at them and you're like, okay, this person looks like they have practiced for the past 5 years. They look on point. Their makeup is on point. Their hair is on point. Their dress is on point. The pictures are on point. I'm like, if I showed you a picture, and I think for once in the next cohort, I should be able to ask them the pictures then when they are getting into the cohort, so that by the time we are graduating on the screens, I can literally show you the transformation that you have gone through within that 8-10 weeks or even more that you choose to stay and study and network. And because this is a family, it's a growing family. You don't just end the 8 weeks and then I'm like, ta-da, bye-bye, you've gotten everything that you have. No, mentorship demands that I be your guide on the side even after you graduate, even after you activated. So I'm looking forward to the activation. I definitely know that after the lockdown we are going to be activated, but we are going to be activated into what? Into the real world. We're going to be activated into the world of service. We're going to be activated into the world of transforming people and setting them free. Okay, we are going to be activated to go and set others ablaze and tell them, do not settle for less. When we say settle for less, some of us think we're talking about relationships. No, we're not talking about, we settle for less all the time. Instead of doing something mega, you do something small. Why? Because what will they say? Will they say, gezi? So be it. If you're, gezi, it's okay, And, some of these things, you're not going to do them when you're dead, okay? And this time, more than any other time, should remind us that we have counted days on earth, and if we are supposed to do any impact, then that impact has to be now, okay? For one, I think my zeal is renewed in this pandemic. I might have, all the things that are going around, they're a bit depressing, they're a bit, the anxiety rises, so a lot of questions rise, a lot of fears come, and I'm a human being. And I've told you time and again, I am not here to brag that I'm all perfect and I have it all together. No, all those things beat me down. And there's a time I was actually going through a series of how do giants rise up again? Because it's okay to talk to other people and tell them, rise up, get up, keep going. But again, me who encourages others, who encourages me, okay? How do the giants get up when they fall down? And oh my, it has been quite a great series that I've gone through, meditating and just thinking about this whole thing, and making way for what I can do better and what and how much more I can do. So I'm really grateful to have you in this class, so grateful to have you on this mentorship, and I know that there's so many things that we are going to learn together. Okay, so I want you to keep those questions coming so that we can, okay. My day was good, Adriana. You say, okay, good evening. You're saying thanks for the time to sharing with us the inspirational stories which makes us find our calling, career, and dreams. Hello, okay. Good to have you, Annette. Okay, and good to have you, Adriana. Good to have you, Shimi. Okay. So there is a lot that I would love us to learn tonight, and remember, we just have very few minutes. Okay, let's see. Who is this? I'm also well grateful to be here in this class. Jonathan, good to have you. Chomhendo James, good. Thanks for always sharing and make us feel better. Yes, and I'm just not making you feel better, Annette. If we can talk about book writing, yes. Okay, we are also going to talk about the book writing bit. Just make sure that you specify the kind of question that you would want me to answer. But we are here in this moment. If this pandemic has taught me anything, it's to count my blessings and make sure that my days count. Okay? To count my blessings, because the people that have died are not any different from me. If I have a life, if I can still breathe, that means there is a reason as to why I am still here. That means I should do everything. I should put down the weakness and the procrastination and the wishful thinking and act, because that's what's going to get me to where I want to get. And when I talk about this, I am so zealous and I am so filled with zest, because I know that I have not touched even a half of what I am supposed to do. Okay. Okay, been a while. Good to have you, JM. I have not touched even anything that I'm meant to do. We're supposed to bring hope to the world. We are supposed to settle conflicts in relationships. We are supposed to bring the truth to the world, because the world is devoid of the truth. Okay, we are supposed to bring a passion into the world, the love that has been extinguished by so many things, and anxiety and the depression. We are supposed to be the salt. Okay, we are supposed to give meaning to living. But if we are going to slow down, eat and sleep and make it a routine to eat and sleep and wake up, eat and sleep and wake up, that is not the life that we are supposed to live. Okay, and I am not proud of that. Okay, I know you can go through a low moment where you don't understand yourself. That is okay, because you're a human being. But even when you go through the lowest moment, make sure you bounce back. Make sure you do not stay down, because falling is not the problem, staying down is the problem. Okay, so when you ask yourself, okay, what are the people in my group doing? So many of you have written your notes. You have sent me, you've scanned and sent me your notes. So many of you have done videos. So many of you have created YouTube channels. So many of you have created Facebook pages and Instagram, and you have followed me and I've followed you back. If I have not followed you back, make sure that you send me a message. So because I want to follow you so that I can see what you do. I want to support you, and my support does not end at the weeks that we will be doing this. No, my support is going to go for a lifetime. You'll be the one to get tired and say, you know what, I don't think I need your help anymore. I can fly solo. Then there I'll be like, you're like a child who has grown, so I can let you go. But for as long as you need me, anytime, I will be here just to make sure that I guide you, or just to make sure that we go through life together. Okay, I know that that's the best that we can do. So today I want, number one, what I want to talk about before we talk about book writing is that let's stay clear of perfection. Some of us, we come into this arena and think that it's only the perfect that actually make it. Let me tell you, everyone is figuring it out while they go. Even the greatest person that you have ever seen. Talk about Jay Shetty. Talk about any motivational Daman. Talk about any motivational speaker, any person that you have seen grace the world's, podiums to speak. All the people that have spoken at TED Talk. Every person that has done anything for humanity in terms of service, they are not perfect. No, they limp, but they keep going. They procrastinate, but they wake up tomorrow and do something. They fall and they get up. And they don't seek to be perfect. Sometimes they don't know what post is going to go viral, but they write anyway. okay? Whether it has 3, sometimes I see some of their posts and then you see one that has 10 likes and then you're like, what's wrong? And then you see another one that has 1,000,000 likes and then you're like, okay, so what happened? People didn't like this post and they liked this post. And yet when you're just beginning, you're always thinking, let me do something that people like. No, you are not doing something that people like. You have to do something that treats or provides a solution in your own category and in your own niche. You are not going to be a jack of all trades, okay? But when you say I'm going to base on teenagers, I am going to deal with toxic relationships, I am going to deal with confidence building, I am going to deal with whatever you choose to deal with, make sure that you provide solutions after solutions. And guess what? Someone will be out there going through the same situation because you're going to talk about things that are relatable, okay? Because you're talking about something that you're passionate about. And sometimes, just like I usually say, that our purpose is born out of pain. Maybe it's something that you have gone through. So when you talk about your personal experience, someone is grasping it and someone is like, wow, I thought I was alone. But there are people who have actually gone through this, okay? So your purpose is valid. Whatever you want to do is still valid. No one should ever tell you, no one should ever belittle you or make you feel dumb or make you feel like it's not going to work. No one should ever. No one has the right to do that, okay? So you make sure that you rise up and make sure that you do the things that you do, that you really have to do. So perfectionism, you put it out of the window. If you want to do anything, if you demand to be perfect, then you will never do anything, because tomorrow you will want to make it better and the other day you will want to make it better. So you will shoot a video 5 times. That is why when I'm shooting, even my project with Star Times, I told them I do 1 take. My project with Bob FM, I told them I do 1 take. Even all my videos, even all the lectures that you have watched, I do 1 take. So if I make a mistake in that video, be sure you're going to watch that mistake. Why? Because I'm not a superhuman. I stammer, and sometimes I don't have the right words, and sometimes I don't know how to explain it better, and that's okay, because I'm a human being. So I want you to be human. I want you to strive to do good, but I don't want to be tied down to perfection, because then you will never accomplish anything. I have seen perfectionists write books and those books have never been published. I have seen perfectionists shoot videos and those videos have never seen the light of day. I have seen perfectionists want to to do something and then they never do. They're waiting for the right relationship and they never get married. Which is sad, very, very sad, okay? Okay, very glad to be here. Good to have you, Sarah. Good evening, my mentor and everyone. Good evening, my dear. So perfectionism, and I want us to throw it out of the way. Some of us have been meaning to start or to do some roundtables, and then you're like, oh, maybe I don't speak like so and so. I don't speak like so and so. Maybe that is for them. No, it is for you. If you can have 5, for those of you that have started. But for the freedom seekers, that will be a totally different project altogether, because for you to graduate, you still have to have started roundtables. And the reason as to why we are doing these roundtables, I'll keep explaining to you, freedom seekers, so that you understand, is a way for me to launch you into the world. For example, if it's a rocket, okay, there is no one in the history of rocket making that has ever made a rocket and sold it and just handed it over to the owners, because most of them are very heavy contracts. But you don't just hand over the rocket and you're like, we have built it and now it is there, it is standing, it is facing up, and now there it is, then we are going to do our own things. Because half the time the people that construct them are engineers, and the people that maybe are putting in the money don't know anything about engineering, okay? But this is what happens when the person is contracted to actually build a rocket. That means they have to take it to take it to whatever planet it has to go to, and they have to bring it down so that they can confirm that everything is done, and this is the power it needs, this is the kind of fuel it needs, this is the kind of crew it needs, and these are the kinds of things that we need on the crew or with the crew, as in they have to stipulate everything and then make sure that they fly it to whatever planet they want it to go, and then they bring it back, and they can do that like 6 times, because before the first launch, most times they launch a perfect good. They don't launch something there they're like, oh, you invite NSA and you invite whatever companies, security companies, and then the presidents or whatever, and then they tell you gather so that you can come while this rocket is being launched. What if it does not fly? What if it does not take off? Okay, that will be a shame. So by the time they invite anyone to the launch, that rocket has flown more than 10 times and has come back, and it and landed well. And so everyone, they're speaking of victories, because when everyone else comes, then it's about victory, it's about sharing and celebrating and doing everything. Now, even on this mentorship, I was like, you know what? For me, I can't just mentor you and just let you go out in the world far. No, without knowing how to create graphics, without knowing how to use your pages, without knowing how to coordinate, without knowing how to invite people, even for an event, even if it's just virtual, and you're like, you know what? Come, we are 5, we are 10. Come, let's meet on Google Meet, let's meet on YouTube, let's meet, but come, let's talk about something. Because when you invite the 10 and you invite the other 10, or you invite the 20 or you invite the 30, then the people in your circle know that you are fully launching into the coaching career, you're fully launching into the mentoring career, and so everyone will start referring to you. So you are creating a base and a family of your own, of people who know you, that are going to spread the word, that even when they come onto your comments, they will be like, Coach James, Coach Jonathan, Coach so and so. Why? Because they have tested what you have done. And that is why I created and I decided to take on the round tables, because it's a very fertile ground for us to practice public speaking, coordination, communication, and how to promote our things on social media, and how to just go full out. Because when you're writing posts without promoting something, there's a way those posts, you just think randomly, today I put on, today I put on what. But when you know you have a round table, my friend, you'll come up with words, how to entice people. You want people to come for whatever. So that is why I created and I took on the round tables, just to explain that. So perfectionism, you put it away. Number 2, focus on consistency. Be consistent. Make sure that what you do today, you do tomorrow, you do. Create a routine for yourself, okay? That every day you research about something. You learn to learn something new about your niche and your calling and what your passion is, okay? And then you solve someone's problem. Look for a problem under your niche. Like I told you to rate 50 of them. There are hundreds of them. So make sure that you break down and say, on Monday, I am going to write about this, or I'm going to shoot a video about this. Consistency. If you start, you do not stop. And I told you, and I keep telling you, that when you sign up for the mentorship, you have signed out your privacy. No, you are going to be out there, and people are going to know about you, because you cannot help people. Okay, I hope we're still together. Okay. Yeah, so that's what we were talking about, being consistent, making sure that you as a person, you do what you have to do. And this is going to go a long way. Make sure that you learn to journal, okay? Write down certain things and say, this is what I want to do during my day. And so that helps you with consistency, because if you program the time for content creation and say, okay, from 1 to 3 p.m. I am going to be, I think it must have been network, and I hope that we are all back. So when you program and say, okay, from 3 to 5, or from 1 to 3, I'm going to be doing content creation. So that means that every day, you're going to be doing something in content creation. So you're posting either on social media, and it should be something that you plan to do when it comes to posting, when it comes to taking videos, when it comes to saying something, promoting your brand, as in these should be your daily things to do. So program time in your schedule and make sure that you actually go ahead and go and look at that time and say, okay, from this time time. Me, I prefer early morning, and sometimes I prefer late nights, beyond midnight, to do my content creation. So it helps me because then everyone is asleep and I can think, and then I can put in the 2 hours, and then I know for the rest of the day my content is actually organized. So make sure that you are consistent. I want to see you. Please tag me, tag Bahati Hilda Sabiti, tag Hilda Sabiti or Hilda Bahati, tag me on Instagram. Make sure that I see what you are doing, because I really want to follow you and I want to enjoy your content. So be very consistent. Now, consistency is not just about posting. Consistency is about personal growth. Reading books. You have been seeing great books that you've been sharing on the groups. So make sure that you go ahead. When someone posts a book, make sure that you go ahead and actually look for it and read it, okay? Because I know that it's going to be very, very helpful. And then, we have audiobooks, okay? And then we have personal growth in terms of such gatherings. So there's so many things that we can actually do to make sure that we grow as people and be consistent at them, okay? And then I want you to make sure that you run at your own speed. Do not run because others are running. Do not do things because others are doing them, in as much as they are self-paced. Make sure that you create your own speed. If someone else is doing something, that is their own speed, okay? Can you set your priorities and say, okay, this is what I want to do, and then after this, this is what I will do, and then after this, this is what I will do. So you know that you have a pace. So if you see people who are running way ahead of you, you'll be like, no, it's okay. You run. I will catch up with you. You know, I don't have to be on the same pace with you, but I will create my own pace. So I want you to create your own pace in as far as video creating, content creation, in as much as pushing your brand out there, and the personal growth. Make sure that you push yourself beyond your limits. Get out of your comfort zone and make sure that you start to do the things that you need to do, because every growth requires an input. Every elevation requires an input. Every success requires that you do something, the groundwork. So let's do the groundwork, okay? Let's not get tired. Let's not give in, and let's not think that, oh, there's so many out there. No, you are one of your kind. You are unique, and you have a different purpose. If anything, we should have all been doing the same things, but we are not doing the same thing. Sometimes I hear people's purpose and people's niches, and I look at them and I'm like, oh my God, like, there's Chigozi was telling us he's interested in environmental to do with something to do with the environment, and I'm like, oh my God, there are people that are passionate about that. Someone else will tell you, I'm passionate about speaking to the teens, or I'm passionate about mothers and mothers to newborns. I'm passionate about parenting. I'm passionate about government and politics. And not all of us, we can't do everything, but when you see someone doing something and you're like, oh my, she does it so well, or he does it so well, okay? And then you also keep your lane. Remember, we're saying that deal with your corner, I deal with my corner, and the world will be transformed within no time. So kick out the perfectionism, make sure that you focus and be very consistent, and make sure that you don't move at anyone's pace. Make sure that your growth is very organic, so that wherever you go, you leave a certain level, you don't go back to it. If you grow without being organic, believe me, when you go off a certain stage, you'll find yourself going back, because there are things you did not learn. So make sure that you're very organic, and make sure that your pace is no one else's pace. It's your pace, okay, and yours alone. Okay, let me just answer the question about book writing. That is our friend. Okay, you said you wanted something to do with book writing. You're grateful. Okay. Hello, Coach. Too good to be here. You finished with the videos. That is Annette. Okay. And then it's there. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Annette, you're saying if we can talk about book writing. Okay, now that is really generic. You did not narrow it down. But when you talk about book writing, definitely you know that you have to have a theme or a title about which you're writing. And then you know that you have to you have to have a theme, and then you have to be able to prepare to organize your content, okay, in a good way. Organize your content. What exactly do you want to talk about? And then I would advise you don't handle ambiguous topics, because then you will be a jack of all trades. You'll be trying to be everywhere to do everything. But if you're writing about one thing, you decide and say, okay, I want to write about time management, let me say. And then, so what am I going to write under time management? There should be things concerning the title that I have chosen. So you go ahead and say, okay, I'm going to outline 10 things that I'm going to write about. And definitely you will know, just like the problems I told you, because everything that you do is geared towards solving a problem. So even a book that you're going to write should be solving a problem, okay? And that will make it so easy for you. So if you're talking about bouncing back, and then you talk about, okay, why do people fail to bounce back? Why do people even fall in the first place? Or why do they, need to bounce back? Why do they hit the rock bottom? What are the signs that someone has hit the rock bottom? And what are the signs that they actually need to bounce back? And what are the signs that they need help from other people to bounce back and not necessarily themselves? And when is it incumbent on themselves to be able to rise back and bounce back? So you see, now you have created around 7 things to do with writing back, so that when someone picks it up and say, you know what, I've been quite in a pit of depression, I've been quite in a pit of procrastination, I've been quite in a pit, and you're like, you see bounce back, then you're like, you know what, I need to read something about bounce back. And most of the times when people get the books, they will go to the last page of the book. Like this particular book is From Faith to Faith, A Daily Guide to Victory by Kenneth and Gloria Copeland. And it's part of my new collection that Tim brought from his travels, from his trip. So I have quite some of them. Unstoppable, Let's Be Real, Redeeming the Feminine Soul, The Single Woman, No Longer a Slum Dog, Extraordinary, Revolution, World Missions, High Performance, Pause in My Presence. There's quite many of them. I told you one day I'll start a book club, and so some of us can actually have the privilege of reading some of the books, that are collection that I have. So people will go at the back page to read, what are you talking about when you talk about bounce back. So here, Faith to Faith, A Daily Guide to Victory, someone says that now you can have a word of encouragement, a word of inspiration, a word of faith every day of the year. So now you know what exactly to expect, that every day of the year they have written a word for that day that you need to read about faith, okay? And then who wrote it, and why they wrote it. And faith, this is From Faith to Faith, talks about the struggles you face every day. Struggles with weariness, irritation, children, finances, even overreacting. Kenneth and Gloria show you how, by applying the word of God, you can make major changes for victory in every area of your life. So in a nutshell, you know exactly what to expect from the book. So if you're the kind who says, I need a daily dose of inspiration, a daily dose to boost my faith in order to believe more for the bigger things that I need, you know that, okay, every day I am going to go into this devotion and I am going to read something, okay? And this is really, really, really awesome. So you have narrowed it down for them. And so when someone comes, they can pick it, even if they don't know about you, go and read it, and then they will be like, wow, she's a good writer. So you have your topic, your theme, you have your bullets or table of content. You have your back page that you have written a summary of what you are entailing in the book, and then you dive into stories, a good way to write about. And but I shared with you whether to write your own story or not to write your own story when you're beginning the writing journey. And I would tell you, you have a choice to make, but I usually tell you not to, because your personal story sells more after you have gained an audience. For example, if I brought out my personal story, which I plan to after some time, believe me, everyone will be like, did you go through that? I know it will be touching to every young girl. I know it will be touching to every young adult woman that is crossing into womanhood, into marriage, into relationships, and I know that it will be, because it will be touching my exact life stories. So I'm waiting. That will become as a memoir, or it will come out later. And so everyone will be like, you know what? I mean, it's going to hit, it's going to sell, it's going to be on an A list. Why? Because then I have created an audience, a following, a trusting audience that can be able to want and long to just read my story. But when you're starting, it's most of the people don't know you, so like it doesn't ring a bell, it doesn't really make so much sense. But if you come out and give them a solution to a problem, and then give them a solution to a problem in another book, then they're gaining trust. So by the time you write about yourself, then they are running to get it off the shelf. Why? Because they can't wait to know the Bahati that we've been seeing, that we thought was, you know, so perfect and born in a rich family, has never washed, has never cooked, she's what? And then she's telling us that this is what she has gone through. Oh my God, that means we all have hope of making it in life. So you see, because they already know me, I've established my brand, and now I'm bringing out my story, and these two do not actually match, and they're like, you know what, that means we really have. So that is a motivation to someone, that is an inspiration to someone. But make sure that you go through the videos that about book writing and the live sessions about book writing. I know that you will gain a lot. I talked about a lot about book writing, how you should write, how to create space for you to write, how to deal with the writer's bag. Okay, I talked about all that in the live session. So make sure that you actually do go through. I can't wait to dive into this. While I was reading it for you, I saw that, you know what, I actually need to do to do this devotion, and I'm going to do it. If possible, I'll share with you my journey of faith to faith. Indeed, we need faith more than anything on this journey, and I'm touched. I'm just going to dive into it. Okay, anyone else with another question? We have less than 5 minutes to go. Okay, our time is fast spent. So for those of you that joined late, we talked about 3 things, summarizing them. Stay away from perfectionism, from being a perfectionist. That will never amount to anything. You will never do anything, because then you'll wait to perfect it tomorrow, and then wait until a year has gone. Roll out, bare knuckles, just roll out and say, you know what, I am going. Whether these graphics are looking east and west at the same time, whether, with my kaweke or with my phone video that is not so good and all that, roll out, okay? Everything else good will find you along the way. And then make sure that you get focused, and then be very consistent. And then make sure that you create your own pace and do not run on anyone's pace, okay? And if we don't have any more questions, I will end it here and sign out. But I'm glad we were able to have this chat. And I'm glad that all of you are doing everything possible. I've seen you encouraging others, and I've seen you following each other. Make sure that you grow together. Don't leave anyone behind. Don't leave your friend behind. But if you see they are too slow, make sure that you carve your own pace. Just like we said, make sure that you create your own pace. And no one should tell you you're too slow. It's very possible that you do things differently. There are some of you that have done all the assignments and just chosen to send all the assignment at the same time. And then there are some of you that are doing them bits by bits. So take your time. I'm not in a rush, and I'm not going to rush you, but come next month we are looking at activation. Okay, we are going to be activated, so I will be letting you know, but I think we'll have more live sessions. I need to engage you more, and I need to hear from you more, and I need to know your journey and where you are right now and what clarity you would need to have. Okay, so from me to you is a good night, and bless you, and share this video with everyone else that has not been able to actually be here with us. And until next time, bye-bye.